Welcome back to Verdant Predicts Week 2. I'm your host, JReal, and we're going to give you an update from last week. I was the victor, as I predicted last week. 6-5 my predictions came in to make me survive another week as your host. CJ, commiserations. I loved having you on the show, but it was all me all day. Now, talking about all me all day, tough competition. Well, I have tough competition for this week's predictions because the man himself, the myth, the legend, the NLC caster, Middlecott, is joining me right now. Welcome in, Middlecott. He scored 7 out of 8 correct last week. How are you doing, Middlecott? Oh, you didn't predict that one, did you? There we go. We'll see if his predictions are a little bit better on the scores than on the handshakes. So, with that being said, Middlecott, we have to, before we get into the actual predictions, right? Were there any teams that surprised you last week that you weren't predicting to do as well as they did?
I'm still not okay that you did that, by the way. Just making sure. I think big one for me was probably Unique. Actually ended up playing quite as well as they did. I think I was really impressed with like Rusty, Sniper and Poopy coming out of the bot lane.
Indeed.
But then Domino as well, getting the 2-0 week. I think they had a slightly easier schedule.
I would agree.
Which would have helped them out a lot, but Clover 7's looking really good. And we know how strong the top side is from their performances last split. So I think a lot of promise for them as well.
No, a lot of good games. I think a lot of teams showed up. I do agree with you. I think Unique really kind of pushed the boat out there with their first win. I also think that Domino as well stepped up. Admittedly, I predicted Domino 2 out of 2. So what can I say? Maybe I was a little bit less surprised. But let's get into this week's predictions. So game 1 of week 2, day 1, is going to be Unique versus Fourth Wall. And obviously, I feel like these two teams could really go anywhere. How are you kind of sitting with these ones?
Well, I mean, this is a difficult one for me, Jay, because I've already talked about how much I enjoyed Unique sort of play. But unfortunately, I am officially a content creator signed to Fourth Wall.
Yes.
So I feel, for no particular reason, that they're going to win in this matchup.
Fair. No, that is pretty fair. That is pretty fair and base. But I personally think Unique are going to kind of do like AOT and smash some walls, you know. I think that they are going to be able to come through and pick up a win. So personally, we're already on the different pages here. We're already starting it off with disagreement. So there we go. That's prediction number 1. But prediction number 2, game 2, Natives versus Veneer. I'm just going to say I'm going to go Natives.
Yeah, I'm just going to go Natives as well.
I think Natives have come in. They look like a powerhouse team. They are in the top 2. Admittedly, I think they are 2, so they're not Drake. But it's a one where I do think I would love Veneer to come through and pick up a dub here. Go for the underdog. We all love an underdog story. Shout out Dodgeball. But it's Natives. Are you agreeing?
It's a good film. Very good.
It's a great film.
Very.
Are you agreeing with the Natives?
Yeah, I feel like Natives like this, but they've just decided like they're going to turn the league table like upside down from where it was in like spring. They just want to win everything.
And shout out, maybe they can do it. But on to game number 3. Well, obviously, this is a segment where I feel like I may be a little bit more biased. Verdant versus Nord. Now, admittedly, I think Verdant looked exceptional in the first week. So I'm personally going to put my chips on Verdant again. How are you feeling about it?
As much as it pains me to find myself in a position of agreement with you, Jay, I think that's where I lie, right? We were saying that Natives was like one of the top 2. I think Verdant, other top 2. And for Nord, obviously, rough week in week 1. I don't think anyone really expected them to end up going 0-2, especially in the fashion that they did. So I think kind of need to pull things together a little bit here for week 2.
Well, they got weeks, they got growth, they got some time to kind of go back to the training board and get stuff done. So maybe they'll come back and swing out with a couple of wins this week. But we'll have to find out. Now on to the final game of day number 1 of week 2. Ruddy versus Domino. This is the one where I feel like I was the most split on, right? Because obviously, shout out Ruddy, a lot of love. We've even got you on the screen, you know, right now. But Domino with my dark horse. I'm personally going to stick with Domino again. They've caused a lot of luck for me.
I don't know. I feel like everyone is saying that Domino is their dark horse. Because
are they your dark horse?
It's my dark horse as well. But like, I want to claim that I had them as a dark horse before everyone else. I think this is a difficult one. My head is saying obviously that Domino going to pull it out because I think that's kind of where we're looking at with both these teams. But I just had a really nice chat with like Pui, the support for Buddy. He seemed like a really chill guy. Seems like a really motivated guy. So I reckon that's a team with a good atmosphere, and I think that they're gonna like show up like more than people expect them to in week 2. So
you think they might master
I reckon they could get like an upset here.
Okay, they might master the Yi. We'll find out if they do manage to do that. So you're gonna go with Ruddy?
Young, Ruddy up.
Okay, so we're split on 2 of the votes. Now let's go into day 2. Maybe we can just kind of whiz through these ones. We talked a little bit about the teams, but Domino versus Natives is first. as much as they've been my dark horse, I don't know if I can back them on this one.
Oh, are we just both going to be saying natives again?
Are we both saying natives?
I think we're both saying
We're
natives.
both saying natives. Okay, on to game number 2. Fourth Wall versus Nord. Are your hands tied?
My hands are tied, Jay.
Okay.
Metaphorically.
We're split. I'm going to be going Nord here then. That is going to be my choice. Going on to game 3, Ruddy versus Unique. Have Unique shown you enough to maybe push them over the edge here?
I think they can do. I think it's going to depend on that Tuesday game, on that first game of the week, like how they feel coming into that game versus Ruddy. But I think if they're feeling good, definitely can do it for me.
So you're going to go Unique?
Going Unique.
Well, I'm going to go Ruddy. Okay, I'm going to stick with the London team. I'm going to go with the Ruddy boys here, keeping it Ruddy all the way. And then final game, Verdant versus Veneer. Where do your chips lie?
The chips lie in Surrey. They lie with Verdant.
Fair enough. It is Verdant. V for victory once again. They're 2-0 so far. Can they make more and more wins? Well, I predicted to have 2 more this week, so we'll see if that goes down. Obviously, your time for competition, you went 7-8 in the first week. Do you think you're going to beat me, Middlecott?
Yes.
Well, that's bold. Well, we'll get you to make one more prediction. Okay. But first, make sure that you keep up with all this content. This has been Verdant Quick Predicts. Make sure you go follow Verdant_GG at Twitter. Middlecott, last prediction of the day. What are the people at home going to be doing at 5 p.m. BST on Tuesday?
They're going to be watching NLC, JReal.
See you next week for more predicts.